It is May 3rd, and this is status report number 2 for the day. That is again for the residents of Olds as well as anyone that is following the situation that Connor has been put into. I was going to this particular video is going to focus on some recent conversations with the RCMP. Now, I think this needs to be publicly shared simply because it shows a very interesting side to things, and it shows how the school is attempting to protect its involvement and its knowledge of the potential child molester that is in its hallways. And it's also showing a very interesting side that the school cares more about money than it cares about the kids that's in its establishment. So let me get down to it so that we don't have another 20-minute video here. But some of this stuff is pretty interesting in this one. According to the RCMP, the school has initiated a complaint with them. Now, the nature of this complaint is most interesting, I have to say. I'm going to show you something. There is a piece of legislation in Alberta called the Alberta School Act. Now, I realize it's reversed in the video, but, it is the province of Alberta's Alberta School Act. And I printed off several sections of it that were very pertinent or, possibly pertinent to what is going on. It's going to be definitely interpreted and argued as to whether the legislation applies, since the legislation is very vague, and what they're trying to claim under it is rather amusing. First, the school has filed a complaint that they are now unable to conduct business because of my video letting the public know that there's a child molester walking their hallways and they know it. This is a simple public service announcement. If they feel they can't run a school because a parent at the school is a child molester and they're aware of it, I think that the administration will need to be removed and replaced with qualified professionals. As the RCMP has pointed out before, every building, every public building, every park, every playground, every swimming pool, all of them have child molesters in them or potential child molesters. So the fact that, the public is now aware that there is one in this school, or is verified that there's one in this school, just means that, the school now has to deal with it. The administration is allegedly trained for this, but if they're saying they can't conduct business because one has happened, then I seriously question their qualifications for being able to run a school at all. Okay, sorry. Again, I am reading, so I apologize. Law enforcement agencies do public releases of the status of certain criminals all the time when they feel the public should be aware. So releases like this are nothing new. I mean, we see them on the news that someone has been released from a penitentiary. They're in, they're settling in X, Y, and Z areas. You need to be aware of it. So, these are just things you need to be aware of. If I did not release this to the public, no one in Olds would know of him, since he is managing to elude the criminal justice system. The RCMP has confirmed that the school, confirmed that the school has had to hold meetings to coach the staff on how to answer questions in regards to this man. Well, I think one of the things we have to look at. The RCMP has also stated that the video is affecting the school that parents are choosing to enroll their kids in, meaning that in EOS Olds Elementary, their enrollment is down. The fact that they are alleging the fact that people are finding out that there's a child molester in their hallways is dropping their enrollment. The school wishes to enact a clause in the Alberta School Act because their enrollment is down, which means the allotting of funding they will receive from the government will be down. So in turn, next year's budget will be down. The school, so this is in fact the real concern of the school. Their budget for next year is about to be cut because their enrollment down, which they allege is due to public finding out about a parent at their school being a child molester. We will address this point more when I address the school directly. There are many reasons the enrollment would be down in that school, and I will address them in the video specifically for the school. Now, let's take a minute to look at the Alberta School Act. It's an interesting one. The RCMP is alleging a violation of Section 27, specifically 27.1. No person shall, which is 27.1, subpoint A, disturb or interrupt the proceedings of a school. So again, the school is stating that their proceedings are being interrupted because the public is aware that they have a child molester walking the halls. Now, the school, I had made 2 points, so I'm just going to read them for you. Now, the school has alleged that because a meeting or meetings have had to be held in order to prep the staff on how to answer questions about this, that their proceedings have been interrupted. They allege that since enrollment is down, their proceedings have been interrupted. Any public service announcement which involves potential sex offenders in the area will cause these meetings. So this is entirely about the school's financial status for the year. If any sexual offender was released from prison and settled in Olds, the same release or public notification would go out coming from the police, or they could be found on registered sex offender sites, and the public would find out about them. If they have a child in the school, there's going to be circumstances around that. So, I mean, there's quite a bit that goes on in regards to that. So they cannot say that my release of this is interrupting their proceedings, unless simply they are not qualified to run a school. The interesting part of this is that the RCMP has implied that this carries huge repercussions, which it does not. Under Section 277, any person, or I should say Section 277 reads, any person who contravenes Section 2181 or 112 is guilty of an offense and liable of a fine of not more than $1,000. The fine is the key here. The school does not see any money from the fine. It goes into provincial coffers. It is in fact that there is a fine that demonstrates the biological parents are behind this. The biological mother has gone out of her way to attempt to tie up my finances so I will not be able to carry on the legal action going against the two of them, which will include the child custody assessment. So being able to cause a fine is their intent. They want to tie up more finances, preventing a criminal or serious investigations into the two of them, which then in turn allows them to continue to get away with what they've been doing. Now, I must step off topic for a minute. I want to thank the RCMP for bringing the Alberta School Act to my attention. I would have never looked here if it was not for the RCMP. Section 40 under the Act details how investigations into the potential negligence of a school and their staff are to take place. I now know exactly how to proceed and to have the staff at that school investigated. You may ask, why should the school be investigated, or what should the school be investigated for? Well, they were aware of the child molester as of around March, April of 2013. Yet, no investigation was done. They did not approach Child Protective Services, and they did not involve any sort of protection for the child. Meaning they did not... Sorry, change the page. Meaning they chose to ignore all of this. I believe this is grounds for negligence, if not grounds for child endangerment, because they are aware of what's going on, and every other child in the school, well, at least every other male child in the school, is a potential target for the biological father. Now, something else you need to realize here. If the school claims they cannot run or administer their school because of the fact that the public has found out that there's a child molester walking the halls, then this is also grounds for an investigation for incompetency for the administrative staff. So there's a couple of things that now can become of this. And I must thank the RCMP for pointing it out, because now I know how and where to start these investigations into the staff. Now let's get back on track here. Here's also an interesting turn of events. The RCMP constable investigating this has admitted to the fact that his spouse is a teacher, and that he has expressed personal opinions of the staff at the schools or some institutions in Olds. Now, in all fairness to him, it was casual conversation, and I do understand that when you have smaller communities, this happens in smaller communities. Everybody knows everybody, everybody's spouse works in some organization, and you start to have things like, it's a good community, there's good people here. Well, when you have these presumptions of good community and good people, you start to overlook what's really happening. And then you start to have oh, Bob did that? I would have never thought Bob could do that. He was in my house all the time growing up. So, we have to look at specifically the fact that his spouse is a teacher. Because now we have to look at, is there a conflict of interest here on the part of the constable? We have to ask the following. Was his involvement at the request of the school through his wife? Has he been making personal choices or presumptions in regards to this because of his wife? Is his wife a teacher at the specific, EOS elementary school? Has special favors been applied to the investigation because his wife is a teacher and has involvement with the school board? All of these things have to be concerned. Is the constable in a conflict of interest because he has potential personal involvement with this and personal knowledge of the school board, the schools, their operations, and the staff? This, as I mentioned before, is a challenge you're going to run into in smaller communities. Division 3 of the Alberta School Act speaks of a conflict of interest. This section requires the disclosure on the part of any school board member. I would argue that the level of disclosure should be required of all school staff, and that the constable's wife be questioned in regards to the conflict of interest. Did she speak to the constable at home about this? Has she spoken to the constable outside of work in regards to this? Has information been shared from the constable to his wife in regards to this? These are all things that need to be looked into. It is surprising that the level of familiarity that happens in these small communities. When you have this, people slip through the cracks. Now, I must say, I have a great deal of respect for the two constables with the RCMP that I did speak to, and of course the RCMP in general. They have a really difficult job to do. They have little funding, and often, they're very stretched. So, I find that we have to give them extra support and give them a little extra leeway. But at the same time, the constable stressed to me that, Child Protective Services had stated to him that the school was found safe. This was, of course, not true. So if the constable continues to state that the school was found safe, that this is the farthest from the truth. The investigation was, in fact, unconclusive, meaning they couldn't prove a danger and they couldn't disprove a danger. And as long as the biological father is hiding from personal assessments like a child custody assessment, or having the appropriate proper professionals look into the house, we cannot deem the area safe. The officers walk in and state that, hey, any park or swimming pool is a potential danger area. Well, I'm still going to argue that the school is a potential danger area because there is no finding of innocence. There's just a finding of, well, the child would not confirm the complaint. And if the child won't confirm the complaint, we can't proceed. And that's exactly what has happened. Because Connor does not feel safe and has not been put into a safe situation, the complaint cannot be confirmed. And while it can't be confirmed, nothing can proceed. This is not by any means a finding of innocence, or that it didn't take place, or that there is not safety issues. So I want to end the video on that, and remember that one of the things I have attempted to do with this is, in speaking with the two officers, is when they have brought up a safety concern, if there is something that I can do to help address the safety concern, I have most certainly worked with them in order to do it. So I want to thank you guys for listening to the video, and as I tell you at the end of every video, you can find out more information at http:// helpsave.mysonconnor.com. Help Save. There is no www at the beginning. It starts with Help Save, one word, no space, dot, my son Connor. Connor is spelled CONNER.com. I thank you. I look forward to chatting with people on the site, and I hope you guys are having a great weekend. And as I said, I will leave a third status report about the school sometime over the next 2 days. I've yet to start to write it. There's been quite a bit of writing so far. This morning I did 6 pages of notes already for these 2 videos. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I look forward to giving you the true facts in regards to the school. Thank you very much. Hi, I wanted to add one thing quickly to this video. This is another reason that I have discovered that the true nature of this complaint is coming from the parents and not the school. Now, one of the things you have to realize is the RCMP is always going to tell you it comes from some sort of institution, not the parents involved. The reason they want to do this is because it prevents potential arguments or violence or confrontation. So you have to give them a little bit in that they are attempting to be preventative. So I understand why they would turn around and try and claim that this is coming from the school. One of the things they have brought up in their list of or not list, but in their passings, is that they are trying to claim that potentially by a parent sending a happy birthday message to a child over the internet, that they are producing the grounds for identity theft. Meaning that people can, from these birthday wishes, derive enough information about a child to go and obtain credit cards or get credit and so on and so forth. This we both know is the farthest from the truth. Any credit card company that thinks, or that's going to issue a credit card to a child of 6 or 7 years old, or doesn't verify a person, or addresses don't match. This is really the fault or the negligence of the credit card company. I mean, if someone goes and purchases a car in a child's name, I mean, come on, who's at fault here? Is it the parent that issued a birthday wish? And my best example of this is, let's take a look at all of our military soldiers in service that are overseas. When they are serving, of course, they're going to send videos back to their kids on their birthdays and well wishes and stuff like that. So now our military servicemen lining their kids up for identity theft for their kids because they simply say happy birthday from Afghanistan or Iraq or something like that. These are ridiculous claims and grasping at straws, and you can tell that the only place this would come from is the parents. You want to know the other amusing part of it is when I first met the biological mother, the biological father had opened numerous credit cards. I was led to believe there was around 12 credit cards in various spellings of his name and under various pseudonyms and aliases. So the person himself that is behind identity theft is right in that house, and that's the biological father. So, I wouldn't actually put it past if an identity theft has allegedly taken place, that it was actually done by the biological father as a method of staging things. I mean, don't forget, they have already physically attacked Connor to try and falsify a medical report. So this is not any big leap or bound for them to go from, physically attacking a child and endangering him and his life to doing a white collar crime against the child. So again, this just demonstrates the real people behind this particular event, which is the biological parents and not so much the school. So I thank you for listening to the little addendum.